Hey, I'm Dave Klein, and you are listening to Foreskin, Gamers Uncut. And so uncut we are. Today we've got a list of incredible topics, but before we begin, to my left, John,
the fascist quick.
And continuing on,
John, the new guy, Chong.
Well, Andrew here, I was the new guy, but I seem to be returning here, so I'll have to find some sort of little quick-esque nickname for me.
You're the leprechaun, congratulations.
The leprechaun, wow.
It's so fitting, too. We used to have an old The New Guy who's always the new guy, Peter Winland, so hopefully we can get him to listen to it and just let him know that your title is gone. You're
That's
never
right.
getting back.
I've taken it.
But we'll go on to our first topic. The first topic being the Nintendo 3DS. There's a big press conference on Friday announcing what new features were coming through the firmware update as well as other updates like Mario Kart 7. A lot of updates on that I really don't care about that much. It's a new Mario Kart. That's all you really need to know. Honestly, what else do you need to say? Do you guys have anything on a new Mario Kart game?
It's like Mario Party now.
They're numbering them now? When the hell did they do that?
When was it? 7?
They're not numbering them. I just think I've read somewhere that was the 7th iteration of it.
Yeah, I saw 7 and I realized, what were the other 6?
Well, I mean, there's but they've never put like letters behind them unless you count Mario or numbers.
Like Mario Kart
64.
Mario Kart 64.
Yeah, unless you count Mario Kart 64, but
So it went from 64 to 7? What?
We're going forwards and backwards and leaping around.
They just pick a random number and they're like, just slap it on the box. It'll look pretty.
But, I mean, I'm sure it'll be good. Other than that, it'll be fun, but I don't think, for me at least, there's not... I don't know. People are trying to find as much as they can say about that. I think it's just like, Nintendo's not coming out with much. Let's talk as much about every little feature that we can. It's like, alright, they're coming out with the new Mario Kart. Let's move on to another thing.
Okay, what was the last major Wii release while we're on that?
This upcoming month, Zelda Skyward Sword.
Ooh.
Okay, that's been the one thing that's been released that people have talked about since what?
Let's not talk
Other
about that.
M?
Professor Layton! Professor Layton just came out last week!
It's for the DS, nobody cares.
I care so much.
You're the only one.
Although I was a little disappointed by it, to be perfectly honesto. I'm gonna throw in some Spanish there. Honesto. That's most of the Spanish I can speak there. But, so the 3DS though, big update that they announced was that you can now record 3D videos. And you can record it, I think you can only record up to about 2 minutes, so nothing long and huge here, but you can record 3D videos and share with your family and friends, and then watch it in glasses-free 3D. Which I think, you know what, I think is pretty cool. I'm not huge on 3D yet, and I honestly don't think the 3D on the 3DS works that great, to be perfectly honest. But you know what, it's something that it needs. It's another cool feature, might as well have it there. And, you know, it is big news. It's something fun that you can do on the 3DS. What do you guys think about it?
Shot-for-shot fan remake of Avatar. Go!
Epic.
That will take up an entire memory card. You get, like, the biggest memory card you can and store it all on that.
Yeah, doing it in, like, what, you said 2.5 minutes?
Yeah.
Like 2.5 minute chunks.
Do not fuck up the take, Andrew!
But, well, there's an HTC phone that already had video. Well, at least you could take 3D pictures. Like, I think it had video, too.
Yeah, the Evo 3D actually lets you watch 3D movies without having the glasses, just like the 3DS.
No shit, really?
Yeah,
when did that come out?
Phone. It came out a while ago.
Good 4 months ago. Good 4 or 5 months ago.
You know, who cares about phones, though?
But the great thing about this is that if it's just a firmware update and they're actually not charging you anything, that is a great point for Nintendo, because all other game companies always charge you extras for accessories and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, it's totally free. All this is free, normal firmware update.
Mm.
Oh, it's so nice. A company's actually giving you something good for free these days.
You know what, though? I think that's actually something that's interesting to touch on, is Nintendo's been doing a lot of that lately. And another part of their announcement, speaking of free things, is that in Japan, they're giving away, I think, 3,000 free 3DSs. It might be 5,000. I'm going to say 3,000 because it's lower and it's easier to get mad at me if I say 5,000. I'm wrong about that. So 3,000. But yeah, they're giving away a ton of free 3DSs because they just want people to have this thing. And I think just so they can start selling 3DS games instead of DS games, probably.
Well, pretty sure where it's at is I don't think they make too much money on selling consoles. I think most of their income comes from actual games. So that's probably a maneuver to say, hey, here's all of this like great stuff. We're even giving you the console. Buy our games because that's where we're getting most of our income from.
Yeah, well, I think actually there's a stat that with the 3DS they're actually making a lot of money on each console with that, just because they're so overpricing it. Because $250, considering what it had in it, was
those were expensive.
But it's just because they were trying to say like what they were trying to do is market it as like 3D should be an expensive thing, and like make it seem that much cooler. Like, oh, it's expensive, it's 3D. Obviously, it's got to cost a lot when it didn't cost them that much to make it.
And boy, did that backfire at the launch.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I don't think that's what backfired on them. I think it was the fact that there weren't any good launch games.
When has that ever stopped Nintendo fanboys before? Give me a Nintendo system that had a great launch lineup. Give me one right now. Other than these,
I mean, N64 at least had Mario 64.
That was a great one.
Yeah.
I mean,
that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, one game. Yeah. Wait, was Star Fox 64? Was that a launch title too?
Maybe the 64. Maybe the 64 you could count it. The Super Nintendo had Super Mario World, but tell me what else it had at launch that was awesome. I mean, Nintendo never has an awesome launch lineup. I don't think a system...
Yeah, any system... I don't think any system, whether it's like Sony or Microsoft or Nintendo, has had a great lineup.
Yeah, but it never stops people from buying it. And especially since they had the promise of, the remake of Ocarina of Time, and also the new Kid Icarus title. There was a lot of like really, really promising titles that looked incredible and that we're all patiently awaiting for that were announced by the time that the 3DS was released. So at the very least, people would buy it for that.
Okay, but here's what you're forgetting though. With Nintendo, at least, specifically, their big sell and drawing point is their first-party titles. That's really, when you look at it, why anyone buys a Nintendo system. And every system has at least had one Big N game that has released at launch. The 3DS didn't. It didn't have anything. And even the third-party titles that they were trying to show off and support weren't very good. At least there's always one good Nintendo game that makes you say, I want to buy 3DS. And okay, Ocarina of Time, yeah, great. People love Ocarina of Time, but in the end, it's a remake of a game that you can download for the Wii for $10, of a game that a lot of people already own for the N64. It's just a remake. It's not a new game. It's not that big of an incentive to buy it. Kid Icarus looks awesome, but it wasn't coming out for a year. And as it got closer and closer to the launch date, it kept on being revealed, all these awesome games that we showed you that you guys probably wanted to get aren't coming out for another year. And so I think that was their big problem. And even all the websites and everybody who was excited for it were just like, wait, do I really want this system now? Because I'm going to buy it and there aren't going to be any games to play for it.
Yeah, I mean, why buy it and not play it when you can wait till the price drops and buy it when you actually have a game you want to play?
Right. 3D, asshole. 3D. That's
yeah, I remember when the PlayStation Portable came out, I waited forever to buy one of those till it really dropped in price, and I was like, that's the game I want to play. And then there were some others that were already out by that time. Not to mention download Final Fantasy VII so I can play that wherever I want.
I bought the PSP just so I could hack it. And I think I own 4 games for it total.
Yeah, I don't have very many games for it either, but...
Just so everyone knows, that was David Klein. He resides in Los Angeles, California.
Well, you know what? Hacking is not illegal. Only games that you put on it are illegal. And maybe I only put homebrew games on. You don't know that, and that's not illegal.
To Sony Computer Entertainment Company. His name is David Klein.
I signed no new legal terms of services. Okay.
Which, by the way, I mean, Sony Pictures, they're only, 5 minutes from here?
Wait, what? Yeah, okay. Let's go back to the Nintendo. Another 3DS thing, going back to that though, that was featured, is that the Mi Plaza, which is basically that if your Nintendo 3DS is near someone else's Nintendo 3DS who's on sleep mode, your Miis will just happen to interact with each other. You'll get to meet their Miis. Basically an awesomely cool feature that only works in Japan and not in America, where it's not really feasible, except maybe New York City. but they've updated. So basically, now there's new content for it for people who really did enjoy that. So you know what? It's free, it's new, so good for them. I'm glad.
Weird.
Well, I guess overall what we can take away from this, as Andrew said, it's really, really great to see a big corporation actually giving to its fan base and its consumers, just giving them something.
Here's something free. It's like, because I mean, a lot of companies, they'll promise you, it's like, oh, this will come out and it'll take forever, and by the time it comes out, it's pointless, or charging you for downloaded content. Because we talked about this last week about some downloaded content. It's like, yes, you want something that should have come in the game, pay an extra $2 to $5.
That horse armor, I need it. I need it for Oblivion and Skyrim. Yeah, that's true. And Nintendo's been doing this for a while now with the 3DS. They just released Zelda 4 Swords about a couple weeks ago for free to download. One of the Zelda games, a previous Zelda game, was also free to download. I think, not Link's Awakening, but another big one. So they've been doing it, which is great. But we're going to move on to the next topic, which is that a certain game that's a little controversial throughout the years, I'd say. Maybe just a little bit. Is getting the newest iteration, and the trailer is coming next week. Hold your breath for it. I'm talking about Pokemon. Okay, Grand Theft Auto 5. So Grand Theft Auto 5 has just been announced, and they're coming out with a new one. What are your guys' thoughts?